John Joseph Xavier Cihon coming at you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which, for those who aren't aware, is about 35 miles away from East Palestine, Ohio, the site of the recent train derailment. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. Before we do so, if you haven't yet done so, please slap the like button and subscribe so you can get notified about videos like this in the future if you appreciate this sort of content. And as well, there will be a link at the end to leave a tip. If you're able to support me that way, anything you can do is appreciated. So I want to start out. I got an email a little bit after the derailment from 90.5 WESA, which is a public radio station in Pittsburgh. They send me a couple emails a week where they talk about political issues. They tend to be progressive, very left-leaning. And so the headline of the article, and I want to really break this down, Ohio Derailment Aftermath. How worried should people be? This is an article they got through the Associated Press. It's written by someone named John Cihon. And it's really propaganda. We're going to go into that. It talks a little bit about the incident. We don't need to go over that. If you're watching this video, hopefully you already know about the train derailment. And then a couple paragraphs in the days since, residents' concerns and questions have only abounded, amplified in part by misinformation spreading online. So if you're worried about this, if you're not believing the official story, you're spreading misinformation. I mean, that's an absolutely disgusting claim to make, and it just shows how this misinformation is weaponized. And rather than being real misinformation, and I'm going to show you the examples, you're just stating an opinion that the elites don't like. So, was the controlled burn safe? Officials say the monitors hasn't detected dangerous levels in the area, so blah, 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 everything's safe. Continuing concerns about lingering smells, accountability, what to make of pets and livestock that have appeared ill or died since the derailment. And then the article goes on to say, the risk to animals is low. The department hasn't received any official reports about livestock or pet illnesses or deaths directly related to the incident. So they're saying, oh, your pets are perfectly fine. And then it goes on to say, Ohio Health Department Director Bruce Vanderhoff cautioned at a press conference Tuesday that residents who were worried about lingering odors or headaches since the derailment should know that those can be triggered by contaminant levels in the air that are well below what's unsafe. So if you're getting a headache, it is because of contaminants in the air, but it's not an unsafe level. I mean, if something is causing a headache, does it even intuitively make sense that it's not harming you? It's misinformation to not believe what you're observing with your own senses. If you get a headache, it's just common sense that there could be a risk to your health, especially with these highly toxic chemicals that are absolutely hazardous to human health. Now, going back to no risk to pets, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources estimates the spill affected more than 7 miles of streams and killed some 3,500 fish. So there's no risk to pets, but there's 3,500 fish that are dead. Again, this doesn't make sense. It kills the fish. There's no risk to your pets or livestock. That's a preposterous claim on its face. And, this article has the gall to say, if you believe that there's a risk to your pets, you're spreading misinformation. It's absolutely disgusting. Are the social media claims about the situation accurate? The article goes on to say. As with any developing situation, misinformation and hyperbole have spread online about the derailment in recent days. Social medias falsely claim that drinking water is contaminated throughout the entire Ohio River basin. So the water is not contaminated. You're spreading misinformation if you think it is. One of the biggest sources of misinformation that I'd like to talk about that the article doesn't mention is that the governors of Ohio and Pennsylvania, Governor DeWine of Ohio, Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania, gave their blessing to burning the toxic waste from the train derailment to get rid of it. They signed off on that plan. And after there was a public outcry, they condemned the railroad company for doing it. So, I mean, if we want to talk about misinformation, we don't have to look any farther than the governors of the states that are affected. And this goes to a greater point which I want to make. I mean, we've gone through that article, and obviously it's contradictory. It doesn't make any sense. And it says you're the problem if you're worried, which is all ridiculous. And the greater issue is that it is clear that our leadership does not care about the situation. In 2005, Kanye West, now Ye West, infamously said George Bush doesn't care about black people. Well, you know what? Joe Biden doesn't care about poor white people in Ohio. If George Bush didn't care about black people, there's no doubt in my mind that Joe Biden does not care about poor white people in Ohio. Ohio has repeatedly asked for the area to be declared a federal disaster, which would make it eligible for relief funds. And the Biden administration has blocked these requests. It has refused to authorize any funding. This is one of the worst environmental disasters in the history of our country. And at a federal level, nothing is being done. If I'm not mistaken, Biden hasn't even mentioned it. The Secretary of Transportation at a most recent press conference didn't mention it. There's a huge train derailment which would fall under his purview, and instead he wants to say that there's too many white people on construction crews and we need more minorities on construction crews. And again, just an absolute contempt for the people. Why do I think this is? Well, number one, Ohio is largely a red state. A small town in Ohio, poor, somewhat rural, they voted for Trump. And, you know, I guess the Biden administration doesn't care about people who largely didn't vote for him and don't have a lot of power. And he's content to let them suffer. And they will suffer. Make no mistake. I mean, we're looking at years of increased risk for cancer. And these people don't care. And it's very upsetting. And, you know, just to hammer home how much he doesn't care. He goes to Ukraine secretly and gives another billion or whatever it is to them. He can't go to Ohio. So, Ukraine, fine. Ohio, no. Not one dime for them. And, you know, the media, and most of the media, not all of it, but most of it has been content to downplay this, largely taking their cues from the current political administration, I think. In recent years, reporters have often become literally reporters. They're just repeating the story they're told. They're reporting what they were told. They're not investigating. That's what we're seeing here. And why does the Biden administration not care? Well, if I had to speculate, I think there's a couple of reasons. Now, there's the financial cost, obviously, and they don't want to be on the hook for that. And number two, this is after a string of incidents in 2023 that can't be classified as anything other than failures by the Department of Transportation. There's the balloons, there's all of air traffic control going down, there's other industrial accidents with transportation that have contaminated other areas. And Pete Buttigieg, I think Buttigieg, his name's hard to say. He's younger. Some pundits have talked about him as a potential presidential candidate. And if he gets too tied to this, obviously he's going to be absolutely tarnished if we want to talk about a presidential run. So he'll be damaged goods dead. So I think that there is a desire on both the part of the Biden administration and much of the media to protect him from being blamed for this because it would tarnish him politically. So that's going on. But the long and short of it is they're not doing anything and they're attacking you if you question it. If you say, maybe this is bad. There's 3,500 dead fish, but my pets aren't at risk. If you say that doesn't make sense, which it doesn't, then you're pushing misinformation. It's disgusting. And what they're literally trying to do is they are trying to make us doubt the things we observed with their own senses. Misinformation is now weaponized to make you doubt what you're seeing. I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share this video. I don't know what else to do, but if I can just ask you to share this video or any similar videos, it can't hurt. I want to keep this in the public eye. And again, slap the like button, subscribe. There are links to leave a donation. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.